Hi guys, welcome to Ghost Gaming 83. I'll be your host, Ghost. In today's episode of Evony, we'll be focusing on troop layering. Now, I get a lot of whispers from members that play Evony asking for me to make a video about troop layerings and what it does, how it benefits you, and what benefits does it give your castle. Well, there are many things that ties into troop layering, not just building or maximizing your troops. There are things like buffs, generals, technologies, duties, and all the stuff like that. And I will explain to you all those things, in a little bit. So let's take a look at the rally spot, troop details. And as you can see, I have 11 million troops. So when you take a look at my tier 13, I only have 594,000 ground troop, 525,000 archers, 807,000 cavalries, and of course 159,000 siege machine. Okay, if I were to estimate all of them together, that would be 2.1 million. Not close enough to total up to 11 million. But so the question is, where is the rest of the troops? Now let me scroll down. As you can see, I have basically started to construct level tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and so on. So as you can see, I have a million of each troop layer. Okay, now a lot of you want to know what is the minimum for you to have as a layer for your troops. Well, to be honest, there is no minimum. Okay, for example, when you first started Evony, okay, when you're in castle level 1, you start to crank out tier 1 troops, and those tier 1 troops are used for gathering, right? So you cranked out about 50,000, you cranked out about 100,000 just for gathering. Then you hit level 2 castle, level 3 castle, you're able to make tier 2, you crank out the new unit, things like that. Those old units that you created or you trained will officially be your troop layering. Okay, so to be specific, troop layering does not have a limit. Okay, but I prefer you should have 10,000 of each. If you have more, that would be great. Okay, so how can we make troop layering be effective? There are 3 or 4 things. Okay, so let's top it off with the first one is technology. If you are K25, it doesn't even matter if you're K25, you K10, make sure when you level up your castle to a new level, make sure your technology is at its current stat. Okay, you don't want to be a certain level and your technology is crap. The reason why is that your technology is the backbone of your attack and your defense. Okay, so you want to have a standard technology than not having one at all. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if you go on structure like barrack, camp, mount camped, things like that, you see that there's an icon on top. If you click on one of them, one of each building, okay, doesn't matter what it is, even research factory, workshop, Trap Factory, you see that there's an icon called duty. So you put a general on there, it will give you certain buff. Okay, but there are specific generals that you put onto your duty and it gives you an in-city buff. For example, let's take Archcamp. If you happen to have John First of Portugal, you go to the special skill, Ocean Expansion. He increased range troops attack, defense, and HP by 5%. So you add all three of those categories, a 5% buff in your attack, your defense, and your HP. Okay. So the next one, let's go to stable. If you have, oh, I can't find stable. I don't have a general for stable. But anyways, let's go to Trap Factory. If you have Askia, is that how you pronounce his name? But anyway, let's go to his special skill. King of Gold, reduce the gem and resources costs of siege machines repairing by 15%, and guess this, and increase in-city siege machine attack by 25%. Now if you have like generals on your wall generals, for example mine, Yi Sun Sin, you can see that his in-city troops attack is by 10%. Okay, so you add that 25% in, that'll be 35% of your siege attack. Okay, if you have a wall general, let's say Joseph E. Johnson, let's take a look at his special. Increase in-city mount troop HP by 15% and in-city range troop and siege machine attack by 20%. 20% added 25% from that Trap Factory general that you put on duty, will be 45%. That's a tremendous increase to have. Okay, not only that, but here's another thing. A lot of you been playing this game for quite a while, and a lot of you are not really focused on the certain things that you do. There are a lot of mechanism in this game, you know. Sometimes you think you might have it all, but you actually are missing one or two. I want to point out the Arch Tower. A lot of people don't even put generals in them. Okay, the benefit of putting generals on duty for the Archer Tower is it increased 90% of the Archer Tower attack. Okay, and there are certain generals, if you put it into the Archer Tower, he will increase that Archer Tower's attack even more. For example, Ban Chao. Reduce enemy mount troop attack by 20% and increase your in-city range troops attack by 20%. So added 20% extra to your in-city defense. Okay, your range defense. Another one that I want to talk about is the shrine. Depending on how much or the amount of offering you do, it will unlock an attack and a defense percentage buff for you too, for certain hours or days. You know, if you donate or if you offer a lot to the shrine, it will unlock for a very long time. And the final thing that you should notice is city buff. Forget about the march size increase. If you playing defensive, you don't need to buff up march size increase, but you do need to buff up all troops attack and all troops defense and also all troop HP. Okay, For example, if you're going into SVS and you're playing with another player and they hit you, you want to have troop layering. What is troop layering? Okay, what's the point of having troop layering? So troop layering is there, okay, as a meat shield, as a barrier. Like I explained in my past video for wall generals, you want to have ground troops, you know, and you want to have ground troop HP, because those ground troops is a barrier for your other troops to pick up, you know, damages or attack other players, while your ground troop is defending your other troops from being attacked. Well, layering troop does that also. Okay, if you have a lot of layering troops, they're basically called meat shield. Those layering troops will get killed or wound before enemy can ever reach to your higher tier troops. But if you have a maximum capacity hospital, then your troops won't get killed, but instead it will get wounded. So how do I build that much? Well, here's the thing. For example, if I'm building my top tier cavalry at 5,000 unit, it's gonna take me 2 or 3 days. Okay, during that 2 or 3 days, I can build ground troop, archers, okay, at a lower tier, which is tier 1, tier 2, and that can cost less resource, and the time frame to build it can be 2 or 3 hours. Okay, so in a day you can pretty much get 20,000 ground troop, 20,000 archers, while you're waiting for your cavalry to finish up the training. And after that you can rotate. You know, I know building all 3 categories, ground, archer, and mount, you're not gonna have enough resource to build all 3 of them. That's why you build one at a time, and you rotate those units that you're training. Okay, for example, tomorrow you're gonna build archer, so that left you with ground troop and mount troop. While building archer is gonna take 2 or 3 days, you're building your lower tier as you're layering for the ground troop and the mount troop. Okay, so and then so on, it will switch and rotate around. Okay, so what are the benefits? Does it do any good to have troop layering? The answer is yes, and we will be taking a look at some of the battle report that I saved from testing out my ground troop in Buck and Bog. One thing I have to say is that if you have a lot of troop layering and you want to test it out, don't do it in SVS, okay, with another person, a player to player. Do it in Bog or Bok. The reason why that is that if you get hit in Bog or Bok, of course your unit's not gonna get killed, your unit is just wounded. Okay, and after the event is over, it doesn't take resource, it doesn't take speed up to heal every unit that is wounded. It's free. Okay, but if you test out your layering during SVS with another player and that player hits you, then what happened? All your unit is either wounded or killed. And if you have wounded unit, it's gonna cost you speed ups for healing. It's gonna cost you RSS for healing. Okay, so don't do it. Okay, so let's take a look at some of my battle report that I've had for Buck and Bog. So the first one was the recent one, the recent Buck that I participated with VBI in it. So Mintam, he is a K35. So he hits me with 1.4 million total troops, and of course, you know, with his top tier troop. And I took a beating. I took a power loss of 183 million. He took a power loss of 144 million. But here's the downturn, okay, for him, is that I have 2.5 million wounds, but those 2.5 million wounds are my troop layering, okay, while he has 1.3 million wound, which is his top tier. You see, that's the difference. And my defense won against his attack because my survival is 532,000 compared to 125,000 of his. You see how much damage you can sustain if you have everything, okay, sync in at the same time. Technology, general on duty, wall general, archer general, buffs, and troop layering. Those all tied up into one. Let's take a look at another one. Same one too, okay. He lost 41 million, wounded 763,000. This guy too, he lost 23 million, wounded 600,000. While during the time I was losing 5 million and wounded 73,000. Next one, same thing, 30 million, wounded 849,000. Next one, 19, 477. Flash. Here's another one. This is a great example, okay? Flash is a K35. He sent in 1.2 million of his top tier troops to attack me. He lost 90 million power, okay? Wounded 1.1 million of his troop, and 65,000 of his troops survived. During the time, okay, I only lost 60 million, wounded 3.3 million. That number right there seems to be a lot, but to be honest with you, 3.3 million is only my troop layering, my lower tier troops, not my higher tier, and I have 4 million survive. Okay. So the one thing that I notice a lot of time in BOG and SVS, people just pour in and hit you. They think they have 200-300 million power above you. They think that they can dominate you because you're lower. They don't even bother scouting you. Okay, they just hit you because they believe their mentality, okay, is that they can win and they can overpower you. And once they hit you, that's after that they start to scout. But they don't scout first before they hit. They scout after, when they see the battle report and it shows that they lost a lot of power and a lot of troops. That's when afterward they start scouting you. That's a big mistake for every event. It doesn't matter what it is. You scout first. That's why you have a wall general on. Okay, I know that when you scout, you lose your bubble. That's why you have a wall general on. So the amount of troops in your castle you have will defend your castle from losing even more. Let's take a look at another one. Same thing here. EA, same thing, lost 81 million power, wounded 1 million. I lost 60 million power, wounded 1 million of my layers. Minotaur, okay, 12 million. Same thing again, Minotaur. This guy, Minotaur from WTF Alliance, okay? Not only once you didn't learn your lesson, but twice. Okay, you attacked me, the same thing too. You lost 44 million. Okay, 1 million wounded. I only lost 15 million and 2 million of my troop layering. And same thing again. You did not learn your lesson the first time, the second time, and you tried to attempt the third time and you lost. With 111 million power lost, 1.3 million wound, okay? I only lost 57 million and wounded 996,000. And those are just my troop layering, okay? Some people, when they have so many troops, they think they just can attack you anytime, you know, trying to kill all your troops, but instead they're killing themselves. Why would you do that? See? And those are my reports of what benefits you have when you have troop layering. Now WTF, we went to server war with them and we decimate them. Our server decimate them. Took their throne, okay, took their temple, everything. Because these type of player, I'm telling you, it's all about numbers, okay? They think they have few hundred millions, they are tough. So another server, a new server that comes in and decimate them and kill them. And then they start whining, complaining, oh, you're being bullies and all stuff like that. When in reality, when SVS have not started, you yourself are bullies to your own server. Okay. So you guys, that's it for my troop layering. Okay. The benefits is that it protect you from being attacked. I know lower tier troops does not add up the damage, but in total, if you have, like I do, 1 million troops or so, the damage it's pretty crazy. You know, it's not a lot if you attack with high tier, but the damage, it does do a lot of damages to your enemies when they attack you. And that's how troop layering work. Okay, there is no minimum troops required to have troop layerings within your castle. Okay, you can have hundreds, you can have 10,000 of each, you can have 2 millions of each. You know, it does not have a minimum required. All you do is train your troop as much as you can, okay, according to your resource and your time, and that's it. Okay, that's my way of playing. Your way of playing is different. People have different type of style how to play this game. Your style might be different from someone else. You know, just play around with it and let's see where it gets you. Okay guys, so that's it. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification. Okay, I'll be having some new video out for you guys, so stay tuned. Okay, happy gaming, and I'll catch you later.